War and hostilities have always resulted in the uprooting of people. The Ionian Islands, because of their geographical position and the fact that they were under Venetian rule since the 15th century, had been welcoming refugees from Ottoman-held Crete and mainland Greece since the 16th century. In the early years of the 19th century, around 1804, refugees from Suli started seeking shelter in Corfu after its fall to Ali Pasha of Ioannina. Displaced, humiliated, steeped in the despair of exile, the Suliotes remained passionate about their freedom and determined to regain their homeland. And when the 1821 revolution broke out, Corfu was no longer a sanctuary for their misery, but a springboard for their return to armed combat. In 1819, they were joined by 4,000 inhabitants of Parga, who arrived carrying the relics and ashes of their ancestors. Refugees continued to flock to the Ionians as skirmishes in the Peloponnese and Rumeli pushed the civilian population to seek shelter elsewhere. The last wave followed the fall of Missolonghi in 1826. Europe was shocked. Ioannis Kapodistrias mobilized relief for the refugees while in Switzerland. And when he arrived in Greece as first governor of the new state, one of his first undertakings was to take care of the children by building a large orphanage on the island of Aegina. In the days following the fall of Missolonghi, Edward Blacker, a restless English Philhellene, found himself in Corfu. He had been instrumental in founding the Philhellenic Committee of London, which aimed to support the Greeks in their struggle. It was also he who brought Lord Byron and his military mission to Greece.
I cannot finish this letter of mine from Corfu without mention of another event, which will greatly please the humanitarians in England. I allude to the founding of the Philanthropic Society, which is vigorously lending support to those hapless Greek families who became prisoners following the fall of Missolonghi. Of a total number of 2,500 souls, 200 were ransomed by the committees in Paris and Geneva for the sum of around $12,000. These unfortunates would have perished were it not for the benevolence of the Corfiots, who, subsequent to the overtures of several Englishmen and locals also, joined their forces and contributed bravely to their care. You will find it hard to credit the following story that I heard from the lips of its protagonist, and which was later confirmed to me by a member of the committee. The heroine to whom I refer, Sophia Kontulimu, was the wife of a distinguished military man who fell in battle during the siege of Missolonghi. When the Turks entered the city, she, together with her daughter and son, was within the crowd seeking a way to escape the enemy. As she was retreating from the city walls, she observed a group of Turks approaching. Terrified by the awful fate that awaited her beautiful 16-year-old daughter, she ordered her son to shoot the girl, to save her from even worse. Her son, obedient to the terrible order, drew his pistol and shot his sister, who collapsed to the ground. The mother and son sought refuge in a cave. Shortly after, a group of Turkish cavalry discovered them and seized them, taking them captive. However, the story does not end here. The mother and son were among the 200 prisoners ransomed by the European Philhellenic committees, who finished up in Corfu. Imagine the mother's surprise when she found that, among those freed, was her daughter. She had survived her wounds and was destined to reunite with her family.